You know how sometimes you hear about a job or maybe a business, you just think, wow, that sounds kind of boring.
Yeah, most of us have probably thought that.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive into why that exact feeling, that sort of boring ladle, might actually be a clue to finding, like a quiet gold mine.
Right.
So our mission here is to look at these boring businesses,
Yeah.
the ones you definitely don't see trending online, and figure out how they're, well, quietly building some serious wealth for people. It really goes against the grain,
Yeah.
this whole modern obsession with flashy viral stuff.
It really does. And it's interesting how the current trends are just so heavily skewed towards high-profile startups, right? Everyone's chasing the unicorn.
Nice money, big splash.
Exactly. Fast money, explosive growth, the next big tech thing. But what the sources we looked at really highlight is that chasing the flash, it often means sacrificing real stability.
Yeah.
Those big money startups.
Yeah.
They can, and they often do, just vanish almost as fast as they appeared.
That's the key difference, isn't it? Because that's where boring kind of shines. We're talking about things like, the laundromat down the street or those commercial cleaning crews you never really notice.
The invisible stuff, yeah.
Right. They don't get the Instagram posts, but the sources, they make a really strong case for just how stable these can be. Scalable, too. And quietly profitable.
Very profitable.
I mean, one source mentioned an industrial plumbing service. Totally under the radar. But billing out like over $10,000 a week.
Wow. Yeah, that's serious revenue. And that kind of consistent high-value service, that's the core of it.
That has to be.
Let's take self-storage units. That's a prime example from the sources.
Okay.
Surface level. Owning storage units sounds, well, pretty mundane.
Pretty boring, yeah.
But the numbers, they show like insane margins, really. Yeah. Once you've got the property, the basic setup, the day-to-day running costs are minimal.
Low maintenance, not many staff needed.
Exactly. Low labor, low upkeep. You're essentially renting space for stuff people already own but can't fit. So customer acquisition is low, retention is high.
And it just keeps ticking over. Predictable income, sort of passive almost.
Pretty much. And it's surprisingly recession-proof because people always need storage, good times or bad, moving, downsizing, just stuff.
It's kind of brilliant, really. Simple, effective. And it's not just storage. The sources pointed to, get this, portable toilets.
Oh, yeah, Porta-Potties.
Yep. Apparently, some of the wealthiest people in sanitation started right there.
It makes sense, though, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, because the core idea is powerful. These businesses work because they solve a really fundamental problem, an undeniable one.
A problem nobody else really wants to deal with.
Exactly. It's essential, but totally unglamorous. Right. And tackling those essential unglamorous problems, that seems to be where the real consistent money gets made. Quietly.
Which brings up, a really important point for anyone thinking about wealth building. What about predictability?
Right. The power of knowing what's coming in.
Yeah. Boring businesses deliver exactly that. Think about a long-term janitorial contract, say with a school district.
Okay.
That's not just one job, that's steady income. Month after month, potentially for years, it could cover your mortgage.
Wow. Okay.
That's stable cash flow. It lets you reinvest with confidence, get financing easier, pay down debt systematically. It creates this compounding effect you just don't get in volatile markets.
Where it feels like you're just guessing half the time.
Pretty much, yeah.
And here's the kicker, I think. Something the sources really hit on. Because everyone is chasing the exciting stuff, those boring lanes, they're wide open. There's just way less competition.
That's such a good point. It's like a highway, right? The flashy lane is jammed, everyone fighting for space.
Total gridlock, high marketing costs, constant battle for customers.
Yeah. While the boring lane is just cruising along, smooth sailing, lower costs to get customers, easier all around.
It really drives home that main idea, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That behind almost every one of these boring businesses, there's probably someone getting quietly, consistently rich.
Yeah.
There was a great metaphor in the sources. The loudest person in the room might be broke, but the boring guy in the corner, he owns the room.
I like that. It's a fantastic reminder that real wealth often builds, behind the scenes through steady work, solving actual problems, not necessarily viral fame.
Exactly. Diligence over drama.
So wrapping this up, what does this mean for you listening right now? We've seen how something that looks boring from the outside can actually be, well, incredibly valuable on the inside.
A hidden engine.
So the next time you hear about some business and think, ugh, sounds boring, Maybe pause.
Yeah.
Don't just dismiss it. Lean in a little.
Ask some questions.
Yeah. Ask yourself, what are those consistent, undeniable problems right here in my community, or maybe in my industry? The stuff nobody else seems excited to fix.
What opportunities are hiding in plain sight?
Precisely. What seemingly boring chances might you be overlooking right now? Could be your first clue to finding a gold mine you never even considered.